Hey bitches, it's Levi from Masculine Intuition Readings, and I'm here to do my June Reflections, July Selections video, and so I did this whole selections thing last month, and I've been sort of like trying to curate cute mini collections that I can work with for the whole month, and for some reason my mood changed and I was like, I don't like my selection for this month. And for some reason, it went completely differently, and I just started using a bunch of random decks, a lot of decks that I had for a long time that I kind of forgotten about. Do I have them all here around me? No, but that doesn't really matter per se. I really liked diving. I actually have one that I did use a lot for myself, not necessarily on Instagram. That is the Isis Oracle, as well as other works by Jimmy Manton, The Gods and Titans, The Goddesses and Sirens. Really have been enjoying those. I have been playing a lot with my Egyptian decks, so that's fun. I've been playing with like some more like zany, out there, Star Seedy, alien-y. I thought I passed this on, but I hadn't. And you know, more like new agey decks, so that was fun as well. I forgot to grab, and I'm gonna grab it. Sorry, I don't edit my videos. I don't do that. I've been working a lot for myself with the Cosmic Allies, which was such a welcome surprise. I did not even know that they were so good. I always kind of thought, meh. This is, you know, a deck of altar cards, so it's not a deck of divination cards that you can sort of, you can work with them systematically. You can do one ritual for every day of the week, or you can just randomly select one and then use, you know, kind of by shuffling them, because you can shuffle them, and you just don't look at what you're shuffling. Okay, this one feels right. Oh, cool, that's the Venus one. I've already done that. And so each card will have rituals and spreads, and I've kind of been loving doing that, especially when I kind of feel lost a little bit, and I'm kind of like, what am I gonna do today with my cards? This has been totally worth every penny. Like, a lot of people think that this is cool, but don't really know what it is. It is not a divination deck. It's a wonderful tool to use. So I've really been enjoying using those in conjunction with the Witch Cats Oracle, both by the same creator. It's such a good little set, and I've really been enjoying it. What's also been a lot of fun this month was working with Maeve together to, you know, kind of promote her Kickstarter, and I got this gorgeous casting mat, which I really like. And these gorgeous coins, and she like got majorly funded, and it's so much fun. So that's really cool. And I've just been using a lot of fun decks, and I've also been reading some books, and one of those books has kind of led me back to some decks that I already had and that I rarely used. So I'm not going to talk about those just yet. Kind of want to talk about some fiction that I read, and I actually read this in full last night. It's The Hideaway by Pam Smythe. I saw this at the Dutch Children's Bookstore because it recently got translated, and obviously building school libraries for primary schools is my work, so I need to be very aware of what to put in the collection, and this is definitely going to be one of the books that's going to be in here. It deals with domestic violence and domestic abuse, and it's about this boy, Billy, I think, yeah, and Billy can't take the abuse anymore, and he decides to run away and hide at this cemetery. And Pam Smythe doesn't release lots of books because her books are like, they always are sort of like hybrids between illustrated books and story. So you'll get written, like completely written portions, usually the adults at work. The adults get their written portion without any drawings. But then when you enter Billy's world, that's when we get the illustrations. So that's very clever use. And then sometimes some bits are completely illustrated. Like you'll have a, oh, that's my gorgeous Cosmovisions bookmark right there. Some bits will be completely illustrated. So it's a gorgeous little story that you can, you know, read in one sitting, but it's a world that I would love to dive back into. So, you know, I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit and then I'll definitely reread it. Pam Smythe's books are so full of character, so full of heart. And it was a lovely story, and there's always a little element of the supernatural. I mean, look at that. It's where he escapes his home. So gorgeous. The cover has a spot gloss on it. It has sprayed edges. Really cool. The inner pages are gorgeous. She's a really good illustrator and a really good writer, and yeah, I don't know. I really loved this so much, and the Dutch translation of this needs to be in every new school library that I build, because there aren't that many books about domestic abuse that are like still fun to read. Usually it's all very painful and very bleak, and I feel like this brings the topic up for discussion in a way where you could, as example, even with a group of kids or even adults, talk about this in a civilized, fun manner without it getting super hyper personal, especially because of that supernatural layer to the story. Which also prompted me to get her first book, because I've been gifting this book left and right. Thornhill. I've been gifting this book left and right to lots of kids, and whenever kids get this, from me, they always hate it because it's super thick, and you know, like, and then they start reading it and it's like, wow. So this is a really fun, also this is even more hybrid, where everything that's in the present day is fully illustrated. So you'll get chunks of this book that are illustrated, and it's absolutely stunning illustrations, always black and white, always sort of very evocative. Like this is literally zooming you into the place where the story takes place, which I think is lovely. Look, we're zooming in closer. We see this little girl, and all of a sudden we're in this little girl's room, and obviously she's been moving. So there's no text here at all, and then all of a sudden we head back into the past, and everything that happens in the past is written. And you know, past and present soon come together, and it's an absolute delight. Yeah, if you're kind of into children's books with a flair for the supernatural, these two are amazing. So I've already read this, but I didn't own it. Now I do, and I did read this month, so that's fun. Let's see. Obviously, also read this little book right here, The Flower Fairies of the Trees. So cute, so stunning. I started this book, We Are All Witches, saw it at the local bookstore, loved it, loved the look of it, thought, hey, this looks to be a selection of short fiction works about witches. Started reading it, because I was just going off of aesthetic alone. And it was the saddest thing ever. These are all stories about women that were persecuted for witchcraft in England. So let's see. There's always an introduction, and then there's a what we know, and then there's a how it might have been. So that's when we get into the fiction part. But I read a couple of them, and obviously, you know, I was actually talking to Astral Lady Tarot earlier on her channel. She's very mindful with her purchases. I'm not. I see something cool and I'm like, getting that, especially when it's affordable. You know, English fiction is like way more affordable than Dutch fiction. So I was like, okay, that's under a tenner. Let's get that. And so I got it, and I read a couple of stories, and although it is written beautifully, it's all so bleak and sad that I'm going to leave this one be for a little bit. I will finish it eventually, but every story starts with so every story starts with a what we know, how it might have been, and live your life by this witch. And it will give you like some journaling prompts or some questions to think about. So it's a really interesting book, really good as well. But you know what? I kind of want to read cool like fantasy stuff right now and not this. So the book that prompted me to use lots of decks that I already had and rarely ever used again was this, Tarot Art. Tarot Art by Holly Adams Easley and Esther Joy Archer, girls famous from the Wildly Tarot podcast, which I'd never heard of, but sue me. And this is a book not necessarily about meanings or, you know, because why does every tarot book have to be about the card meanings all the time? No, this is actually a book about the history of the creation of decks, starting with the Visconti di Modrone, which I love, the Visconti decks, Visconti Tarot, all the way up to modern day, where we get decks like the Moonchild, the Guided Hand Tarot, stuff like that. So it's really, really cool, and everything in between, and there's a really big chapter on, let's see, there are really big chapters on the Visconti, Solabusca, Tarot de Marseille, Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth, Aquarian Tarot, Morgan Greer, Motherpiece, the Cosmic Tarot, the Druidcraft Tarot, the Deviant Moon Tarot. I skipped that chapter because I absolutely I'm disgusted by the Deviant Moon. I don't know why it's so special. It's not that amazing, but you know, it did have an impact on the world. It's just not for me at all. The Wild Unknown, Contemporary Tarot. There's an epilogue and an appendix and then about the creators, and then there's also these really cute, I'm only going to take a one stack of them out, but they're sort of a cute little majors only Solabusca reproduction, which is cute, you know, it's because I don't have the Solabusca, and I don't think I kind of wanted it, but now that I just have these majors, I'm kind of like, you know, it's cool, but this is enough for me to have. But it is a really nice added bonus to this deck. So that's actually really cool. You can actually stick them in these little envelopes at the end. And I had so much fun reading this. Holly and Esther have a great writing style. They're critical when they want to be, but never so critical where it gets rude or disrespectful or where it reads crudely, because you know, like, I feel like, especially in this world, the tarot world, everyone has their opinions, and you know, they do as well, but in this gorgeous volume of extensive research, they were very cordial and very matter of fact to the point, which I like. But it never got like hyper academic. It was literally almost like listening to a friend talking to you, telling you these awesome stories about tarot art, which led me to their podcast, which I had never heard of, where they follow a very cool format. They just, um, I gotta find, I gotta put this in the Thornhill book because I want to read this tonight, I think. But where they actually do a couple of readings for listeners, and then they talk about a cool deck they both have, or that one has and wants to convince the other to get, which I like a lot because it can be difficult to sort of talk about decks in an audio only format because you're kind of talking about visuals. But there was one deck especially that kind of made me go, oh yeah, I have that and I never use it and I kind of want to use it again, and I completely fell in love with it all over again. The Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris Ann, which is actually a really cool, fun, usable deck when you are, and you know, this is for creators, but it's fun for everyone, but especially when you are a creator, be it professionally or amateuristically. This is a gorgeous deck with text, cute sacred geometry, affirmations, colors. It's really fun and uplifting. This is one of my favorites, Feed Your Artist. It's just a really fun little deck. Move beyond intention to belief. Interestingly enough, the first 22 cards are in direct conjunction to the major arcana of the tarot, which I find fun. And I really, really, really like this deck. So why do I have this deck with me? Because I can't really do July selections. Let me tell you why. I don't really like doing selections because, well, I like doing selections, but I never stick to them. But it is sometimes good for me to go through my collection to see, hey, this might be fun to use. However, I can't, literally physically can't do selections right now because I'm going to travel in July. I'm visiting Willem's brother in Canada for a couple of days in somewhere in the middle of the prairie of Manitoba. That'll be fun. Then I'll be traveling with Willem to Toronto. We'll stay there for a couple days, and then we're going to take the train from Toronto to New York City, United States of America. And we're gonna be gone for like 2.5 weeks. And I was like, obviously, I'm gonna buy 1 or 2 decks while I'm there. That's inevitable because whenever I'm in an English-speaking country, I'm always like, wow, I can literally walk into any bookstore and have access to English language decks. You know, I can order them all online on Amazon, but you know, the walking into an actual store makes it so extra special. I'm especially kind of looking for New York City tarot hotspots, so if any of y'all know any or would recommend any, let me know, especially if there's some indie stuff being sold there. But I was like, which deck am I going to bring with me? And I'm not quite sure yet, but I already thought it can't be an indie deck no matter how cute or pocket or mini or adorable, because if I lose an indie deck, it's going to be really hard for me to replace. So I was playing with this, and I was like, this is a very good, expansive deck. I also may want to take some pictures with the deck here and there in nature. And if anything happens to this, it's going to be very easily replaced. It's going to be easily replaced. So this is a very good contender, but I already kind of know that deck. I've had it for a while. This I just got in, and this might be fun, you know? Like, I don't really know this deck yet at all. I haven't even really read the guidebook that well. Um, so, you know, this may be fun to bring because it's a cute, like, new deck, and every day can be a different card, a different concept to focus on. So that could be really interesting, although this is slightly bigger box-wise. Obviously, I think I may as well just leave the box here and just bring the cards in the guidebook, because in a bag it'll be way easier to take with. This box is a bit smaller, and then I have one more option, which is a deck that I know and love, which is my Star Temple Oracle. And although I do know and love it, and I have something newer by Susie, which is a Water Temple, this is such a tried and true, but looking at it now, I'm kind of like, it is more compact than the Healing Waters, but I'm still kind of doubting. So I would love to hear. We're only traveling with carry-on luggage, by the way, so space is an option, but which of these two would you bring? Something you already know and that you like, but that is a little bit more um space effective, or something that is completely new and that you want to take with you on an adventure. Both are mass market, both are easily replaceable. Um, Also, the whole reason why I was talking about this deck, once again, I'm completely going off track here, was because of the Wildly Tarot podcast, because of that book, and they were talking about this deck. So, in case you were wondering where this whole story went, another deck that I might bring are these. These are intuition cards for every day. Um, they are very cheap, but they're in Dutch, which is kind of a bummer for English-speaking people. But, you know, it's a really cute little deck. It has fun, fresh illustrations on there, and then it has a really, really cute, simple-to-use keyword, and I really like this. And the box is also very slender. But then again, you know, like, I think I'm not going to bring this because I do kind of want to bring an English deck for Instagram purposes. So, although this is cute, I'm not bringing this. I'm not bringing the Star Temples. I'm still up. These two are still up for debate. Which one would you bring? I mean, cute, space effective, expensive, new, interesting, definitely giving summer vibe, but a little bit clunky and big for carry-on luggage. Which one of these two would you bring? One that I'm definitely not bringing is this beast by Zia Hunt, the Nameless one, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. Definitely one where I will do maybe a 2-card pull. This is not coming with me, but I did really enjoy this month. This is expensive, but it was so interesting to work with it. Let me open up the box. This is not just a tarot deck, it's a tarot deck, and then there's 30 oracle cards, which I all use together. And once you kind of sit with the cards a little bit, you're kind of like, oh, now I get what this card is or what that card is. This is very obviously the Tower, for example. And this is so me. This is very sigilly. This is very, you know, the sigil takes center stage. It's huge. The quality is amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the 9 of Swords. There's no text on the card, so it really does require you to sit with the card for a long time. And obviously, you kind of have to know which is an oracle card and which is a tarot card, because you'd think that this could be the moon. And if it came up in a reading and you read it as the moon, that's fine, but this is not the moon. This is the disciple of the moon. The court cards are really cool. Obviously, this is the 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 8 of coins. So this is something that I've been enjoying this month as well. But obviously way too big to bring. This deck is as thick as my... No, we're not going there. It's really thick. It's as thick as my wrist. So, but really special. Like Zia Hunt, I had the Children of Letha once. Liked it, but didn't love it. This is an artistic feat to which I say, I applaud you, Zia. Or Alexandria, whatever her name is, but it's really, really, really fucking amazing. The quality, the artistic quality too, like, damn. Really lovely book style box with a little ribbon. It's adorable. So you guys need to help me decide on which deck to bring, the Healing Waters or the Sacred Creators Oracle. Either one of those are coming with me. If you have another suggestion of stuff that you know is in my collection, let me know, because I'm kind of lost. Like, what do I bring? It needs to be mass market and easily replaceable, yet fun. Anyways, this has been my June Reflections July Selections video. I hope you liked it. It was a bit rambly and I kind of lost track halfway through, but that's life. Thank you for watching, and bye, bitches.